Are the rich paying their fair share of tax? The government is on a mission to find out, saying that there are lots of rich guys around the world who aren't.
Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and their ilk, fresh from blasting into space, effectively avoid scrutiny of the low tax rates they enjoy on this planet compared to the middle-income people who work for them or buy their products.
The Minister, Revenue Minister David Parker, wants to scrutinise these high-wealth individuals in New Zealand by introducing a bill for a fairer tax system to ensure that all Kiwis are paying what they should be. So, what does that mean for top earners? What does that mean for those who might not be close to it? PwC tax partner Jeff Nightingale is here this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Ryan.
Let's start with the super wealthy. So this is the top 10, 5, 1% of wealthy Kiwis. Are they paying a fair amount of tax?
So that's a really difficult question to answer because fairness relies on what set of values you bring to answer the question. What they are paying is the legal amount of tax. And what the Minister Parker is saying, well, against their entire economic income, that legal amount of tax might be a lower percentage than we would otherwise think, because...
Okay. So they're paying, if they're earning any salary and wages, which some of them will be a little bit, they'll be paying the same tax that anyone else would be.
Yep.
If they are earning their income from property or from capital inflation in a business, they're not paying tax on that.
Yeah, sort of, yeah. So in New Zealand we tax income, so wages, salaries, interest, dividends, profits, business profits. But we don't generally tax capital gains. And the wealthier you are, the more assets you accumulate, and therefore the more capital gains you accumulate. And so Minister Parker is he's saying against their economic income, and that's not what we tax, and that's by design, that's the law, but against their economic income, that the tax paid on their other income might look like a low percentage, and he's seeking more data on that. That's the High Wealth Research Project.
Yeah.
And
so this is the thing. Yes, we all pay the same tax rate when it comes to our income, but when it comes to assets and the value that they increase by, and if you look at Graham Hart, it was apparently $3.4 billion during the pandemic that his wealth increased by. He's not taxed on that increase.
That's correct.
Okay. So then the question is that fair or not? My question is, if we're not making them pay a tax on the increase in their wealth, then... You know, if we made them do that, wouldn't we also do that with our own properties? And if you've got an investment property or if you've got a business, you know, would that not be fair to tax everybody on their wealth?
Yeah, well, it's the same principle. I mean, nobody is taxed generally on their capital gains in New Zealand. It's just that at the very wealthy end, that they have a higher proportion of their economic wealth is generated in capital gains. That's just the function of owning assets, really. And at the moment, and for many years, our system does not tax those capital gains, and there has been no political mandate to do that.
Yeah. Are there any loopholes? I think there's this perception that, you know, your Elon Musks and well, let's forget them actually for a second, but your Graham Harts and your Kiwi tax residents, uber wealthy, that they're exploiting loopholes, hiring lawyers and accountants and wriggling out of stuff. Are there loopholes for them?
Generally, no. So we've spent the last 20-odd years closing those loopholes with good tax policy processes and successive governments have legislated. So the difference is it's a design feature, not a loophole. So the fact that we don't tax capital gains, you know, a number of governments have put that up as an idea and voters have not yet accepted that. So that is a design feature and it's appropriate that's our law at the moment. The issue that what I think Minister Parker is trying to do is change the narrative and with data try and build a sort of a narrative in New Zealand voters' minds that it might be fairer to tax capital gains. And you know, he did rule out that the government's not working on wealth taxes or capital gains. He said that 2 or 3 times.
But he didn't say beyond 2023 where it might go, right?
He didn't say beyond 2023.
Which is the key. I mean, he's just laying the groundwork, planting a seed for potential changes down the line. I guess the question is, and I come back to it, if we're going to tax the wealth and the capital of uber rich, is it not then fair to tax the wealth and capital of middle New Zealand?
Yes, it would be fair to do that.
Right.
But
so that's why it's so politically unpopular.
Yes, yeah. But I think that's right. I think most New Zealand voters are aspirational, and we all hope one day to be in a position where we do have those capital gains, and that's the difficulty in selling a capital gains tax. But I think any laws that would apply to the uber rich would also apply to all of us, and that's the tax policy principles.
Yeah. Fascinating. Well, I mean, look, it's tax, so I don't want to say fascinating discussion, but I enjoyed it. What do you think, Bernie?
Yes, numbers.
She's not even paying attention. Jeff, thank you so much for coming in. Great to talk to you. I'm sure we will be debating tax and its implications for many months and years to come. Appreciate you coming on the show this morning. It has just gone now 12 minutes after 7 o'clock.
And Ryan, I'll tell you, there are a lot of people who are very interested in tax. Our viewers have written in. Kevin says, how about they stop talking about individuals and start with the corporations and multinationals? These are the ones that are paying the least. PJ says, the tax system is not fair. We're a working couple with grown children and mortgage. We do not have a $1 million home. We do not qualify for any government handouts. They need to help out middle earners more. We pay the most in tax.
Actually, Mel, that's an interesting question from one of our viewers. Jeff, just while you're here, is there a difference with the multinationals, those big corporations? Are they paying their fair share?
That they are now, yes. And again, are they fair as a values-laden thing? They're paying their legal requirements. And that legal requirement has been extended over many years. There's been 3 rounds of international tax reform. And about half of our corporate tax now comes from multinationals. So they are paying a significant amount of tax in New Zealand. Fair is a political judgment.